Hi, welcome to Write More Light. My name is Sarah, and I am excited to talk with you today about something that I talk about a lot in probably every single video that I do with Write More Light. I talk about journaling, and I don't think I've ever talked about why I talk about journaling, and I thought that might be a good segment for us, especially with an upcoming workshop in collaboration with NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, National Association for Mental Illness. I should probably get a handle on that before I start talking about it too much, huh? um, but I think personally, and I feel like this is backed up by science, but I can't actually confirm that journaling is really, really important, not just for everyone, but for writers in particular, because part of our writing brain is, I mean, all that we do with writing is language, and it comes from us, right? It's not from on high, presumably. And there are so many, 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 many benefits to journaling, but particularly if you're a writer. I sometimes reference I believe it's Joan Didion quote. I write entirely to find out what I'm thinking. And while that's cool to think about with fiction, it seems a little crazy. I have certainly found out on accident that I believe something via, my stories, my characters, but more often than not, I'm surprised by what I find when I'm journaling. And I think that I talk about journaling a lot, in particular with writer's block. I find that when I'm having a lot of trouble writing, creative writing, and then I journal, I I'm like blocked up and I don't totally realize it. And then I do journaling, and sometimes for a lot longer than I intend or a lot longer than I expect. And then I'm able to write. Sometimes it's exhausting and I write later, but it makes a huge, huge difference for my productivity in creative writing. And I've talked to other people about this. I'm not the be all end all of experts in writing or in journaling, but this is pretty common. So I want to talk about how to journal, because that's also a weird thing. Like, especially if I haven't journaled in a long time, I sit down and I'm like, literally, I'll be like, I'm sitting down to journal. This feels weird, like just a sad inner monologue coming out. um, so, so journaling can be awkward, even though there's no one there like looking at you, listening to the things that you're journaling, which would make it really weird. But I know like vlogs were probably are still a thing, but were a thing for a while. So somebody could be watching your video blog and, reacting in real time. But for our purposes, I would like you to write your journal. You don't need to have a blog. It doesn't need to be for public consumption. I have never journaled for public consumption. When I was like 13, I had a live journal. But that's a little different. um, yeah. So first things first, right? I advise for the how portion, I advise just letting a stream of consciousness happen. There are a lot of articles and bits of advice on journaling and experiments with journaling that you can do. We often reference the Bernadette Myers writing prompts, and a lot of those are about journaling. And I will actually pull that up. I have it bookmarked, so that was incredibly easy. um, so I'm going to screen share that, and we can look at it. We can look at her different journal ideas, and this is specifically for creative writers. So we go down here, and it's writing experiments. There's a lot of them. This is an excellent resource, even if it's not the most visually pleasing thing in the world. But up at the top is journal ideas, and this is just stuff to get your brain moving um, in the right sort of way, right? Making the right connections in your brain, the right new paths in your brain to help you get on track with your writing through journaling, which is low pressure, which is the most important part, I think. I think anytime we get too much pressure, it's basically over. I'm a person who works best with deadlines, but not if I'm being creative. It's a different ballgame if there's pressure. So if you don't know how to journal, you don't feel like sitting down and just writing your exact thoughts until it becomes easier, totally legit. It's super awkward. I don't know why. It seems like I shouldn't be able to feel awkward when I'm alone with myself, but it is. It is totally awkward a lot of the time. So Bernadette Meyer's list of journal ideas, and I'll post this in the comments of the video too. Journals of dreams, food, finances, writing ideas. That's when I write by hand, which not everyone does, and doesn't matter. But whatever notebook I'm using, I've done this with planners too. Again, most people don't use planners, so maybe that's not the best idea. But maybe you have like a sticky notepad on your desk. I thought I had one in my drawer. I don't. I always just have a list going in the back of my notebook of writing ideas, which maybe I don't get to this year even. Maybe I don't get to anytime soon, but it's really nice to have that. And referring to my favorite lesson, do one thing every day to benefit your writing, to further your writing. I think that counts. I think coming up with an idea, even if it's not on purpose, even if I'm sitting here and one that I came up with when I was in college, I went to IHOP a lot at like 11 p.m. And while I was sitting there having my breakfast food, I thought of like personality profiles of IHOP, and that's something I've never written, or I've only partially written. And that would be just little vignettes, like what's going on in that person's head, or why is that person a regular at IHOP? But keeping that list going has been really helpful to me to just like feel more like a writer. Love, so dreams, food, finances, love, those things are really going to be very much like probably stream of consciousness, maybe journaling in lists I have found helpful at times when I don't even feel like I have the energy to put a full sentence together. But these, having journal prompts can be really, really helpful because of the awkwardness of journaling, but also because it's getting you outside of your own pressures, your own prejudices, your own ideas about what journaling should be. So you take a prompt like mail, right? And just free write whatever the F comes to you on mail, or ideas for architects. I have a friend who did this. I don't totally know her inspiration, so I don't know that she was like, I'm going to journal on architecture ideas. However, her name is Clara Chow. You can look her up. She's a relatively famous Singaporean writer, and it's a whole book. It's a whole book. It's called Dream Stories. It's fantastic. She ended up talking to a lot of architects, or maybe it was just like regular people. My memory's leaving me. I'm sorry. The book's not in this room. I can't show it to you. But she wrote a whole book, and it was people's dream building, and like not necessarily of reality, right? Maybe like a house or a building like House of Leaves, or for those who haven't read House of Leaves, that's like the house keeps expanding on the inside, but not on the outside. It doesn't have to be reality-based journaling, just something to get your pen moving or your typing going. That's what matters. That's what's important in journaling, is that you're taking some of the pressure off to be creative and to be talented. Like journals don't need to have any kind of quality or caliber or whatever other measurement for goodness is out there. Journals are not that. Answering machine messages, I think, is hilarious, and I have done that one, and, like, I'm not gonna show it to you, it's just a journal, but, like, what a fun thing to get your brain moving. We can go I love that it says on so on and so on at the bottom of these. Like, yes, you're right, there are other ideas. That's another journaling idea, right? We can, um, come up with journaling ideas. Journaling in lists is super, super useful. It's valid. And again, low pressure. I'm all about removing pressure from the creative world because I don't know. I think that breaks us, right? If there's just too much pressure, the productivity, the quality, the mental health starts to suffer. So I'm going to close out of this. And again, I'll put that link in the comments here. Not actually properly on this video while I'm recording it, so I apologize for that. Another important resource for, maybe not resource, way to go about journaling is, I've talked about lists, but you can doodle. Just finding a time to do this very low pressure content thing, that is more about expression and less about productivity, less about audience, less about your own goals, and more about having an expression. It's really, really important. So, bugger, I thought that I have an example near me, and I do not. I apologize. But that's I changed my mind about an example, but that's a really, really useful and positive way of journaling. There are not actually any rules about this, which sometimes I really want rules. Maybe that's weird. But I'm a little tightly wound regarding my writing. And so sometimes if I don't even know how to go about starting journaling, I would like rules. So that's when I would go to Bernadette Myers or making a list. But other times, I have something that's stuck in my head and I can't get it out. And it's like this message that I really need, or, whatever the case. I think for me, if there's like a quote in my head and I can't get it out, oftentimes what I need to do is just write it down. Sometimes, I'll write it down 45 times and that's not really doing anything. But sometimes I'll write it down and I'll make it pretty. And I'm looking for something specific right now in this notebook here. What I have in front of me right now is a notebook where I write down quotes that mean a lot to me. So this one was a line that I couldn't get out of my head and I just wrote it a bajillion times. It's a Kendrick Lamar quote. It's "Dreams are reality's piece." And it's not exactly pretty, but I wrote it lots of times in like different fonts. Here's the two I was looking for. I didn't realize they were on the same page. One is we have to be able to criticize what we love. And I love how that turned out, this red one here, because I genuinely messed up what I was doing. And I was like, you know what? This just makes the point better. And then this is a misrepresented Shakespeare quote I saw written on a piece of art that was all things that are ready if our hearts be so. Now the real Shakespeare quote is "if our minds be so," but God loved the hearts version. And you can see this isn't anything fancy. I didn't make bubble letters. I traced the outside of what my marker did and then I wrote over it. It's not fancy, but it is cathartic. And I think journaling is pointless if it's not cathartic. And you don't have to be, you don't have to know that it's cathartic in the moment. It doesn't have to feel like you're doing anything, because that's not so much the point. The point is that it will benefit your writing long term. Um, Having a journaling habit is dope. It's especially good for your mental health. And we're about to get onto that NAMI workshop that's coming up. But it's also useful for developing a mastery of language, for developing your own voice, for understanding your own voice, for understanding where your narrative comes from, whether or not you write prose or poetry or something else. Um, it in the long run, even if it doesn't feel much like it, will help you master those things and understand your own writing better. So I am a hardcore advocate for journaling. Now I'm gonna move over to a little highlight. I know this is probably gonna be a little bit of a um, short video today. If I haven't already babbled for 20 minutes, I'm not actually. Oh, it's been 15. All right, not so bad. We have an upcoming workshop. One of our board members reached out to the local NAMI affiliate, which is super exciting, to host a workshop together. And this one is by donation, which is exciting. I love that particularly something about journaling, something about mental health is accessible. That's super, super important. As usual, all the information you're going to need is on our website, mwcqc.org. And here we go. So you can see mwcqc.org here at the top, and then events and opportunities, journaling for mental health is what I clicked. And here we are, journaling for mental health presented by NAMI and the Midwest Writing Center. It's a free virtual workshop using writing to help manage mental health. We suggest a $10 donation that'll be split between NAMI and the Midwest Writing Center. And then I'm going to read it to you because here we are. Maintaining our mental health is as important as taking care of our physical health. This has perhaps never been more true than it has been during the pandemic. Writing, specifically journal writing, is one way to nurture your mental health while expressing yourself. To learn how to start a journaling practice, get a refresher, or simply enjoy more practice, join Christina Wassenhove, Jody Tui, and Ryan Collins for a free virtual journaling for mental health workshop, Monday, March 15th at 6:30 p.m. It'll be on Zoom. You sign up, we'll send you all the info. If you're not familiar with how to use Zoom, we'll also give you a little quick bit of information to make that easier for you. Jody Tui, author and publisher, will serve as moderator and provide some tips for scheduling a regular writing practice and developing a healthy journal writing mindset. Christina Wassenhove, a licensed mental health counselor and NAMI volunteer, will talk about mental health, why it's important, and how journaling can be part of achieving and maintaining mental health. Ryan Collins, teaching artist and MWC executive director, will lead participants through a journal writing exercise. I can say, as someone who's done writing exercises with Ryan, I've always been glad to have them. I will be going to this workshop as an attendee because while I think journaling is super, super important, I don't know that I am maybe the expert on it that I'd like to be. And I think that this is going to be really important. And whether or not I am an expert, whether or not my journaling habit is, more frequent or advanced or whatever than yours, that doesn't mean I have nothing to learn. And also, mental health is important, and I would like always to improve that. Yeah, I already said all this other stuff. So to register for the workshop and receive the Zoom meeting information, contact Ryan. Here's a phone number, 309-732-7330. I know I said that fast, but you can look it up. Or email us, mwc@midwestwritingcenter.org. I have already said I'm excited about that. I usually try to base our writing prompt here at the end around the content of this video, but I think I'm actually going to skip the writing prompt today. I think that you have plenty on your plate now with the journaling, and if you've got 5 minutes free, go for it. You've got that Bernadette Myers prompt or link in the comments. This is all you. I want it to be low pressure, and I want it to be beautiful. Other stuff we have coming up with the Midwest Writing Center, we've got our bespoke poems on demand ongoing. You can put in a request for your customized, bespoke means customized, made to order poem until February 28th. However, if this is something you want for like Valentine's Day or a birthday or something, we need 5 days notice before for turnaround on that. So make sure you give us plenty of notice. If you choose the Valentine's option, then we'll end up typing something beautiful on some handmade paper. If you want it to be heart-shaped, we can do that. We may be able to frame things. It really depends on your poem and how things go. The poems start at $20. We would love it if you would tip the poets. All of the money that you tip goes to them, of course. We've got 8 professional poets lined up to write these for you. They're really beautiful. As the person who does the typing, I get to see what comes out, and I mean, I knew that these were good poets, but like really good. What else do we have going on? Iron Pen is coming up. Iron Pen is our 24-hour writing contest. That'll start on a Friday night, February 26th, I believe, at 5 p.m. The prompt goes live everywhere. Our website, our social media. If you call us, it's on our voicemail. We'll email it to you if you've signed up in advance, and then you get 24 hours till 5 p.m. Saturday the 27th to write your piece for the contest. You can do poetry, fiction, nonfiction. Those are our like prescribed categories, and it's $10 per entry. And every entry gets, you can write as many as you want. That sounds like a lot of work to me, but you do you. Every entry gets you entered in a chance to win full tuition to the David R. Collins Writers Conference in the summer, which is a huge and amazing value. And as things are starting to come together for that, I can tell you this is not a year to miss. I am so excited, but more on that when the time comes. Yeah, so as always, I hope to see you on Thursday at 1 p.m. And I hope that you write more light into your life. Have a great day.